Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, today would have been the day we'd have found out who was the new leader of the Conservative Party. If only Andrea Leadsom hadn't pulled out. We'd have had 2 leadership races instead of 1. If you're disappointed you missed out on a leadership battle, as many of us are, fear not, because UKIP are also balloting for a new leader. Woohoo! The front-runner, Diane James, seems so confident she hasn't been taking part in any of the hustings organised over the summer. Did I just read that properly? I think I did. Anyway, our Ellie has been meeting the candidates.
Well, hello and welcome to this Daily Politics Who's Going to Be the Next Leader of UKIP special, where we meet the candidates wanting to follow in those very big footsteps of Nigel Farage. Now, we could have come to the various hustings events that have been held over the summer, but where's the fun in that? Plus, we missed them. So instead, the leadership hopefuls have kindly come to us. Please welcome Lisa Duffy, Bill Etheridge, Liz Jones, Philip Broughton and Diane James. And Diane James. Gosh, this really is like a UKIP hustings. So first question to all the candidates, who are you?
Well, Lisa Duffy is a mum of 6. I'm a hard-working local councillor, but I've been a part of UKIP now for 12 years, so UKIP runs through my blood. And I'm somebody that really champions the people. I've built the by-elections up for our party and put UKIP on the map from a by-election and a political point of view.
I'm Elizabeth Jones. I'm one of the UKIP leadership candidates. I'm a long-standing London family lawyer. I'm also a long-standing member of UKIP. I've contested about 11 elections, and I've been very involved in a variety of national and local campaigns, ranging from female circumcision to saving a local Art Deco cinema.
Councillor Bill Etheridge, West Midlands MEP and Dudley councillor. I did 20 years in the steel trade before being involved with politics after losing my job in Gordon Brown's recession. I've got strong opinions, strong views. I'm pretty radical, but I'm also very down to earth and I'm pretty determined.
I'm Philip Broughton and I'm a young, northern, passionate working class lad. I work in a supermarket. I've got real life experience as well as political experience, and I think we have a phenomenal future as a political party, UKIP, if we do the right things.
What is your vision for UKIP in 3 words?
Friendship, unity, success.
3 words: team, challenge, leadership.
A radical, alternative political movement.
I believe this party has got to stand for freedom, fairness and opportunity.
Who is your political hero?
Ronald Reagan, a great communicator, a man who did things with a sense of humour, but was also, in his own way, revolutionary and strong. So, in this leadership campaign, I'm determined to try and win one for the Gipper.
I have 2, an ancient political hero, that would be Boudica, for having the courage to take on the Roman Imperial Army 3 times and win. Fantastic. My other would be the former leader of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew.
Winston Churchill for defeating the Nazis, which is one of the worst evils the world's ever seen, and Nigel Farage for getting this country's freedom back in the EU referendum.
Would probably be Winston Churchill. I think he was a man of many talents. He's a man who had his own personal challenges, but he made a difference, but he wasn't afraid to speak his mind, and I think that's what you'll get from Lisa Duffy.
And finally, if UKIP were a drink, what would it be?
It would be a Sauterne.
Why?
It would be deceptively seductive, but get you drunk.
Ruby Mild would be my favourite, and it would be strong and powerful, lovely taste, smooth and make you feeling great.
I think it would be a very exciting fizzy drink.
I think it's a fine wine, a fine red wine, one that's maturing over time. We're a political party that's 23 years old now, and that bottle is ready to open and take us to the next level.
Still alcoholic though.
It's alcoholic, but I'm not an alcoholic drinker, to be fair.
Well, that concludes this Daily Politics Who's Going to Be the Next Leader of UKIP special. We'll all find out the result at conference on Friday, the 16th of September. To all the candidates, thank you.
And of course, we should say that we did invite Diane James to take part in Ellie's film, but she declined. We're joined now by Owen Bennett, political reporter at the Huffington Post. He's author of the book Following Farage. Welcome back to the Daily Politics. Now, the candidates there, fine people, putting up a great case there. The one that we've heard of course, wasn't there. And two others that we've heard of, Paul Nuttall and Stephen Wolfe, aren't even running. What's going on?
Very good question. I mean, Paul Nuttall didn't want to stand for family reasons. He's got a young family, and I think he looked at all the work that would needed to go into making UKIP a sort of relevant party in this sort of post-Brexit world we live in now. And he perhaps thought it wasn't for him. Stephen Wolfe did want it, but through a series of sort of calamities and other errors, he didn't manage to get his application on time, and there were questions over whether he'd been a member.
It's not a great job application, is it, if you can't get it in on time?
If you're trying to run on a platform of competence and you can't even apply on time, then it's not a great look, is it? And then Diane James, for some reason, decided to completely shun all the hustings, which, thank you for referencing the Huffington Post exclusive story there that we broke.
Was that exclusive to HuffPo?
It was indeed, yeah.
Well, that's about time.
Well, we give it a go every now and then. And, she's decided to sort of run this thing where she's going to run it like a coronation, and she's going to do all these events
because she thinks she's got it.
Yeah, but it's a really bizarre tactic, because the UKIP members who are voting on this are going to go to the hustings, right? Yeah. And they're going to stand there, and it's allowed everyone, all these other candidates there you saw, perhaps are not the most high profile, just to keep bashing her every time.
There's a lot of UKIP people think that their future lies more, they have more opportunities now in the north of England than they have in the south. In other words, that Labour is more vulnerable to UKIP in the north, voted heavily for Brexit, than the south, where there's some evidence that previous UKIPers have kind of gone back to the Tories. Yeah. But Diane James is very southern, isn't she? I mean, did they not need a northern candidate for this?
Absolutely. I mean, there's one of the nicknames of Diane James in UKIP is Queen of the South, because she's seen as
That's a football team.
not going sort of north of the Watford Gap. Yeah. I mean, when the campaign kicked off, she was actually in France. She had to get someone to send in her application on her behalf. So there's a suggestion she doesn't really want this job. In fact, if you go on her website...
She was in France, she's in UKIP.
Well, if you go on her website and look for reasons why she wants to stand, the first two paragraphs are reasons why she doesn't want to stand. It's very bizarre that there's a lack of enthusiasm. And I think you're completely right. It did need a strong northern voice, Paul Nuttall, Stephen Wolfe, to really take it on in those Labour heartland areas. But just remember, the membership is mainly in the south, but the electoral success is mainly in the north. So we're seeing, what you get in a lot of parties, the membership and the electorate, hey, guess what, they're two slightly different beasts.
Now, in a way, it's quite amazing what's happening to them, because, if it hadn't been for UKIP, there wouldn't have been a referendum. I think that's fair to say. And there could still be post-referendum opportunities for a party like UKIP, particularly given the state of the Labour Party and how well they did in the referendum in the north. They did pretty well in the general election in the north too. But it doesn't look like they're moving in a way that will capitalise on that. This could be a big missed opportunity.
I think it could be. I mean, let's not forget, though, if you look at that range of candidates, and we're all having a bit of fun with it, and Ewan's clearly having the time of his life with these candidates, but if you said a couple of years ago, it was always these were always these sort of grumpy men from the south.
Oh, the sort of gin and tonics.
Yeah, exactly. In fairness...
Yeah. No, they were...
in fairness to UKIP, there you saw, you've got the likely lad from the northeast. Well, I'm a northeastern, so I'm sort of giving him a bit of benefit of the doubt. We had, quite a strong, quite feisty panel there. You had a professional woman. We had two quite strong women there. It's not absolutely... If you put up a lot of other candidates who run in other parties, they don't, on the first time out, they don't look too professional either. The Diane James thing, I can't comment.
So they may still surprise us, what you're saying.
I think they have strength and depth, but they need a figurehead who is national. And I would be very surprised if one day the chalice does not pass back to dear old Nigel Farage.
No, surely not.
Oh, yeah, he'll be back
He's
again.
only changed his mind 3 times. That was on the night of the referendum. What is the future for UKIP, do you think?
Well, I think I agree with you that this is a missed opportunity, but I think what we're seeing here is actually something that affects all parties, is that people look to leaders and see how exhausting it is, how knackering it is, the personal sacrifices required, not just to a lack of family life and friendship, but just the abuse that you get regardless of what your political persuasion is. And I think what we're seeing in UKIP now is a manifestation of what we're seeing elsewhere. The fact that Paul Nuttall didn't want it, the fact that, as you say, Diane James on her website is effectively saying, I don't really want it, is because people have looked at Farage with the exceptional level of energy. I mean, that referendum, whatever you think of his politics, was all down to the fact that he rebranded UKIP early doors. People did see it as BNP light, and his personality allowed him to overcome that. But his relentless bags of energy that very few people have.
Even when he falls out of a plane.
Well, indeed.
All
that
resilience, it was a horrific injury.
Possess.
But let me come back to Owen, who's been following this. We've only got a few seconds left. Roughly what do you think the future of UKIP is now?
it's positioning itself as a patriotic working class party in the north. One of its big policies, other than Brexit, was grammar schools. Theresa May's nicked that. It needs to find another way of representing those working class northern voters. That, for me, is the future.
OK. Did you bring me a copy of the book?
I thought you had about 5 already.
Yeah, but they're all signed. I was hoping for another signed one. Oh, and thank you.
Good.
I've been getting away with it all